This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Lightyear. There's going to be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, please don't keep watching, and I'll go right into it. And the first thing I have to say about Lightyear is, I really enjoyed it, although there was a bunch of potential inconsistencies with the backstory given to both Buzz and Zurg in the Toy Story films. And with that, although this is a problem, I think it is something that's definitely overlookable in the film, but it is a problem if you do look at it and try to put it into the Toy Story universe. Although some of this can be explained by the film being an earlier film in the franchise, which I discussed in a video yesterday. So I'll try to put that in the card above. I have to do that for this and the boys video, so I'll play a number on both of them. But yeah, with this, I still think that this is a really enjoyable film. And just looking at everything here, I think that Lightyear has been a really fun film. It definitely makes me believe that Andy could have fallen in love with this in 1995. And I think they did a really great job at making it. Although I do see how many people could have problems with it, since it does contradict some of the stuff that is in the previous films. They said some of the main things being that Zurg is an emperor and is Buzz's father, which are both things that are sort of contradicted in this, with Zurg being a version of Buzz Lightyear from the future. And then the other part of this is that Zurg is never referred to as Emperor. See, I think that is definitely a problem, but some of this can be explained in a sequel, which this is clearly going to set up. I would definitely want to watch that sequel because this was a good film. And with it, I watched this mainly for the story of Buzz, but I think that the rest of the crew with him was really fun. And they had some unique characters. They were interesting, and looking at the time travel stuff, I am not a expert in time travel or in science, but from what I've heard, I think that the time travel in this is extremely accurate. Where if you're in space under the right conditions, which I think is moving at near light speeds, you can go and age slow relatively to everyone else, and for you, a few minutes can be potentially years to decades to people. And yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I really did have a lot of fun. And I think that is something really interesting because I've heard of that before. And I think it's interesting they did go and put it in and have a more scientific version of time travel. But yeah, with this, looking at just the plot, it's really interesting to see how it is a Buzz Lightyear who just wants to go and can't look past the fact that he failed and has to fix the mistake, and he has to learn just to accept that there's some things he can't undo. Some things have to happen, and people have to live with their mistakes and move forward, this is a similar plot to what happens in the Flash story Flashpoint. And, well, ironically, I watched that movie also the day I watched this movie. And I wasn't even thinking of it at the time, but I just realized that I watched two films with basically the same message. That's because I wasn't thinking of that. I was just starting a rewatch of the DC animated movies. And so I wanted to get a lot of the shorter universes done before I started my giant Star Wars rewatch. But yeah, with this, I think that it is a good message to give to kids. But also, I think it is satisfying for people who grew up with these films and watched them because basically, if you were born anywhere past 1995, when I believe Toy Story came out, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I wasn't alive at the time, but I was looking at some stuff for that video, so I'm pretty sure 1995 is the year Toy Story came out, although I might have made a mistake there, and if I did, sorry about that. But still, with this, I think that it still is a good film for that. And as long as you're willing to look past some of these inconsistencies, which can be explained in sequels, I think that it's definitely cool. And I also like how throughout this you get to see Buzz's suit evolve into the more iconic one. And yes, I do see a problem that I was having a fun debate with on a YouTube comment section that this shouldn't have been the toy in the Toy Story movies if it's based off of the final scene of the film. Although I do explain that in the video, I at least explain most of it. I might have missed one part, which I'll put in here just in case. And that is that since Buzz became such a big and popular character, that his mom bought him the more popular version of him. And that is likely because the old version of Buzz from this film, which you can see the video for the full explanation of this, would have come out somewhere between 1980 and 1990. And if you want to see that, I hopefully remembered to put a link to that in the video. And yeah, with that, I think that it was really interesting to go and see that. And I think it is explainable, although some people are a lot more willing to die on the hill and not like the film because of the inconsistencies. Personally, as I said, I was willing to look past them and had a lot of fun. I think this film is definitely enjoyable. If you're going to take kids to see it, they would definitely love it. A character like Sax is both intended for little kids, but is not as annoying as other characters could be. One thing that, well, you could get annoyed by is him keep saying meow, 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 meow. But besides that, I don't think you're going to get too annoyed by the character. And this is definitely something enjoyable for families if they take their kids to see it and for adults to see. And although I don't like making too much controversy, I will say this because I do think that animation is for everyone, and the only thing fully intended for kids is educational slash preschool content. And even there, you could have people who enjoy it, but that stuff is specifically aimed for kids, and this is not only intended for kids to watch, but also for their parents to see and not get annoyed with. And I definitely disagree with what the people said at the Oscars that the only thing that an adult could do when they're watching an animated movie is get annoyed by it. And yeah, I think that that's just one of the few things I will take a stand on because I don't think it should be controversial. It should definitely be a statement that everyone should agree with, and I just think it's ridiculous to think that animation is only for kids. But that's sort of a side tangent and something I should probably do a completely different video on. But still, if you do have kids that you watch my channel, definitely I would recommend for you to go see that movie. I went with one of my younger brothers and he completely loved the movie. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And although I haven't really done this before in a video, I haven't really also reviewed a movie more intended for kids. And it's been more reviews of either more nostalgic, which this technically is, since it is a Toy Story movie and that's been part of many people's childhoods. But most of the films I've reviewed are more intended for older audiences, and this might be the first PG film I have reviewed, although there are some films I might have reviewed because they were before 1984 and that's when PG-13 was created. Well, actually, I did review some PG films. That's the first two Indiana Jones films. And that is since PG-13 did not exist until Temple of Doom basically by itself made it exist. And yeah, that is. Oh, that's pretty good. I think that I do just wanted to say that because this is a little different. I didn't want to explain why I wanted to. Just give a suggestion to parents if they did watch. When I make my reviews, I intend for them generally to be for someone old enough to, understand this stuff. I would assume that, well, first off, they're at least 13 years old because obviously this is YouTube and you should be over the age of 13 to be watching YouTube. But as a second thing, I also assume they're just old enough to understand this stuff and we'll assume they're around 16, maybe 17 in a maturity level. Doesn't mean they have to be that old to watch it. I try to keep it accessible and I don't swear ever. Oh, that's something I just do generally in life. And I just wanted to have it a little more accessible to a parent who might find this because, although I don't intend this for children, if someone comes across it, I would want to know what I think. And if they think that it would be good for their kids to watch it, I do want to give them a good recommendation, and I think they would. So yeah, I want to know what you think of this film. Please let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.